Rebecca, Eva Green, is a pregnant woman who caresses her belly while having a drink all alone at an empty beach. 2 children sleeping. She looks at him quietly. Clone. 2 kids on a deserted beach. She seems like she's going to change, but she pauses as she notices his gaze. 10-year-old Tommy and 9-year-old Rebecca gather together under a broad walk in the pouring rain to share an apple. He throws pebbles at her window the following day so they can play together. To keep his father from telling Rebecca to head home for the evening, Rebecca is acting as though she has fallen asleep. Her father on the phone consents to let her spend the night there when he visits Thomas to see how she's doing. Equipped with coats, scarves, and caps, the kids ride their bikes on the chilly beach early the following day. Grandpa is dozing off on a chair while they examine his skin under a magnifying glass. They flee when it appears that he may awaken. They glance at a tiny snail once again. They discuss about their lives away from the vacation spot while they gaze at its sluggish movements. Rebecca is kissed on the lips by Tommy. She is taking a bath later because she and her family are leaving on the ferry at 6 o'clock. Tommy is abandoned, a solitary boy once more, as the ferry departs in silence. In adult Rebecca's eyes are fixed on the pier's sculpture of a morsel. Rebecca has returned from her family's residence in Japan. In adult, everyone looks uncomfortable as Thomas is with another female and expresses his amazement at her return. While listening to the conversation, the girlfriend smokes a cigarette till she makes the decision to permanently depart. Rebecca is about to go, and even though it's raining, you can tell they still have affection for one another. Rebecca smiles when Thomas says that the girl wasn't actually her girlfriend and gets undressed before swimming in the sea. He eats dinner, she gives him a long look, and they eventually have sex. They come to a stop so they can proceed down a supposedly vacant road, but as they do so, another automobile approaches and kills Thomas despite their best efforts to stop. He has written her a note saying, "I'll wait for you for as long as it takes," on a fragment of notebook paper that was placed inside a matchbox containing a dead snail's shell. Rebecca looks at pictures of Thomas everywhere she goes. It looks like Thomas's parents are in a lot of distress. Rebecca looks at a wall covered in pictures of Tommy's memories. Rebecca is carrying a lot of weight. She goes to Thomas's grave. The child is delivered. 5-year-old Thomas, Jesse Hoffman, hides and converses with his mother using a quilt. Under the quilt, Rebecca is said to have kissed him. However, this could just be my assumption. While her mother is taking a naked bath, Thomas reclines in the bathtub and recites a poem. She gives him a cheer before giving him an awkward, improper hug. The circumstances surrounding Rebecca and Thomas bother other mothers, and they don't want it to have an impact on their own kids. An educator concurs with the mothers. Meanwhile, Eric, a friend of Thomas's, was playing. Rebecca is riding after Thomas, and the mothers are staring at her with cockiness. As a result, Molly and every other mother and child declined to be Thomas's pals, making the birthday celebration a total bust. Naturally, this infuriates Thomas, who yells at his mother. To ease his pain, Rebecca brings him a moving toy dinosaur. At last, Thomas makes a friend of his own in the form of an age-appropriate neighbor. Rebecca uses her computer to work from home. One day, while the mother and son are playing, he perches on top of her, acting as if they were playing with a romantic partner. When the new male friend shows along, the awkward issue is resolved as they play with the toy dinosaur that was buried in the beach while it was still moving. Years later, after having sex, Rebecca finds her son Thomas in bed, looking just like his biological father/clone. This awkward situation occurs when Thomas goes out with Monica. Rebecca finds the relationship unsettling, even though she probably won't confess it to herself. While Thomas is sleeping, she sits next to him in bed. He drapes a covering over him, and she falls at his side. After petting her own mother, he wakes up surprised, believing it to be Monica. While hiding, Rebecca observes her son and Monica getting ready for intercourse. The bond between Monica and Thomas is becoming stronger and stronger. The grandma by the father's side shows up. Thomas and Rebecca had taken a nude sea bath. Her grandma looks at Thomas, almost unbelieving, not even knowing that Thomas is her grandmother. Monica views everything with skepticism. Rebecca whines and rushes inside. Thomas leaves in a fit of rage after a conversation with Monica, Rebecca, and him over breakfast. Once his son has had a bath and Monica has left, Rebecca gives him his father's laptop. Though they ultimately have sex, he is much more enraged with her. Thomas makes the decision to move out of his house that night. Rebecca attempts to hold herself back from speaking or acting. Thomas appears to be getting closer to the horizon as he moves and gets smaller and smaller.